Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we have an interesting collaboration beer to have a look at today. This one is half Norwegian and half English, so we're going to head down to London for another visit to the Beavertown Brewery, and this is one that they did in collaboration with Lervig Aktiebryggeri from Stavanger over in Norway. So for this one we're having a taste of the Mad Mutually Assured Destruction. This one is a double IPA and it comes in at 9.5% ABV, and according to Rate Beer, this one got a 99 overall, so it should be a really damn good beer, this. And of course you don't take Rate Beer as the kind of gospel, if you like. Some of the big companies do have interests in that site and stuff like that, but it does give you a fairly good idea of how good a beer is going to be. But my experiences with both of these breweries in the past has been very, very positive. I've only tried one or two of the Lervig beers actually, but everything I've tried from Beavertown has been pretty damn good, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, it's the link to my other reviews that I've done both from Beavertown and from Lervig Aktiebryggeri. No doubt I will do more from both breweries in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there both from a Norwegian beer reviews and from English beer reviews, and those are just being added to whenever I can, of course. And please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Beavertown Brewery first off then. So Beavertown Brewery was established back in December 2011 by Logan Plant, son of Robert Plant, of course, from Led Zeppelin, and Byron Knight, and it's in the kitchen of Duke's Brewing Queue in De Beauvoir in Hackney in London. So Beavertown is actually the old Cockney name given to this area of London, and the brew house was located opposite the Smoker's Barbecue restaurant, and in the early days they were running very small batches of 650 litres, but in March 2013 they moved out of their home at Duke's Brewing Queue into a new site in Fish Island in London, and since then they've moved once again to a new 11,000 square feet facility in Tottenham, which is also where they have their tap room, and that's somewhere that I really do need to check out sometime when I get down to London again. I didn't have a chance when I was in London earlier in the year because I was just over there for an interview, but yeah, no, it should be a really, really nice place to go and visit at some time in London. But Beavertown are one of the best English craft breweries you're going to find just now. I mean, there's Beavertown, Magic Rock, Cloudwater, Verdant, and all of these sorts of things. If you watch the guys like Craig, Harry, Dean, and all the English beer tubers, Brett, of course, Beardy Brett, these guys all rave about Beavertown beers, especially Beardy Brett. He loves these guys. So make sure you check out their channels, and they can keep you a little bit more up to date with what's going on in the English craft beer scene than I can. But very, very good brewery, and one that you definitely need to check out if you're interested in English beer. So anyway, on to Lervig Aktiebryggeri then. So Lervig are based in Stavanger in southwestern Norway, which of course is the main oil city over there, but Lervig Aktiebryggeri was founded back in 2003 after the Tor brewery was sold to Carlsberg, and subsequently production from there moved to Oslo. So for a while the beers were actually produced at Mack Ølbryggeri in Tromsø, however the production was then moved to Hillevåg in Stavanger back in 2005. So the head brewer for Lervig is Mike Murphy, and he's been there since 2010, and prior to this brewery, prior to actually brewing these kind of American style craft beers, they were brewing a lot of light lagers and things, but Mike moved them more towards making the American style beers, and he apparently played quite an important role in the Danish beer revolution and collaborated with several of the renowned breweries such as Evil Twin and Mikkeller, of course, Mikkel and Jeppe Berg, so also Sean Hill and Andreas Kiesmeyer as well, and he also worked for a period for Birra del Borgo in Italy. But from what I understand, Lervig Aktiebryggeri had a sort of donor for a number of years to actually get them up and running, and it's only in I think a couple of years ago that this brewery actually started to become fully profitable, and their beers are quite widely distributed across Europe now. I think you can get them out in America and things like that, and I did see them out in Australia when I was there. So Lervig Aktiebryggeri are one of the kind of best known Norwegian craft breweries these days, and they do some pretty interesting stuff. They're always pumping out new beers and different collaborations and things like that. So Lervig Aktiebryggeri are one that you definitely want to keep an eye on. So yeah, that's all you need to know about both of these breweries. If you want to learn more about either, as I said, check out the links in the description below. But it's cool, I think this is only my second review that I'm doing involving Lervig, so I do need to try some more of their beers, and for a long time they were doing their beers in bottles, but it's only recently they've actually started putting them in cans. So yeah, I do need to try some of them since they've moved them over to cans. But let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself then. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one. It is the kind of typical Beavertown style of artwork on this one. They've got these lovely little cans, of course, these little 330ml cans with a kind of psychedelic style artwork. There you can see the Beavertown symbol there with the skull, and Lervig, of course, are known for having this little star. And this one, of course, is a can that you can actually export over to Scandinavia. You get the 1 crown punt, of course, when you take it back to the supermarket or whatever, but really nicely presented. There you can see the kind of Illuminati Beavertown style thing there at the top as well. But you know, it's really nicely presented. I always enjoy the Beavertown artwork that they put on the beers. And of course, Magic Rock, they're another English brewery whose artwork I really, really like. But yeah, without further ado then, let's actually get this beer out and we'll get on to the tasting. As I mentioned to you, mutually assured destruction, MAD as it's been known, and it comes in at 9.5%, and I think it was a 99 it had overall on Rate Beer. But this one I think is going to be one of these hazy New England style IPAs by the look of it, but it looks very, very nice. So there you can see there was a nice bit of a smoky opening, and we've got it out and into the glass. So yeah, so as you can see, if I bring this beer up to the camera, you can see it's a lovely, just kind of fruit juice. It just looks like a tropical fruit juice, to be honest with you. There's a solid half finger of a bubbly but frothy white head, 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But it is a very, very hazy beer. You can see, if I put my fingers behind the glass, there's very, very little light coming through that. It is definitely just like a fruit juice. It's got a nice kind of yellowy edge to it, but in the middle it is a more kind of almost blood orange colour, but it looks very, very nice indeed. So yeah, really, really nice looking beer, and you can smell some of these lovely juicy fruity characters coming off this one. I think they said they actually added mango pulp to this beer or something like that, but yeah, there wasn't too much available on the Beavertown website that actually told you about this beer. But I did read on, I think it was Rate Beer, they had a description that said they added mango pulp to this, but you can definitely pick up that lovely mango character in this one. But yeah, as you would expect, it's a big fruit bowl. There's passion fruits in there, there's mangoes, there's a wee bit of a kind of peachy note as well. I'm getting a little bit of sharpness from the peach. But you can smell some of these lighter tropical fruits. There's a bit of a sort of apricot-y note coming out of this as well, maybe some papaya or something like that. It's just a big fruit bowl basically. This is, you know, it's kind of what you would expect. It's got a big kind of fruit bowl character, maybe some lychees as well. I do wonder if there's some citra hop in here, because it's given a few of the telltale signs that you'd expect from citra. The mangoes, of course, if they have added mango juice, that's to be expected. But yeah, you can definitely pick up a little bit of a pineapple note from this beer as well. You can smell those nice lighter juicy pineapple notes. But some kind of, there's definitely a good bit of floral aromaticity to this one. You can smell that sort of slightly dank floral aromaticity coming off of this one, just underneath. On the back end, if you take this beer in really deeply with the nose, you can get some of that slightly darker floral aromaticity. There's definitely a little bit of lighter grassiness to it, but I'm not picking up too much in the way of like pine raisins or anything like that. It is more of a nice kind of floral aromatic character that you're getting out of this, but really the aroma definitely leans more towards the kind of fruity, juicy side of things rather than anything else. But it smells lovely. You can smell a little bit of that oaty and biscuity sweetness and the malt base in this. It's got a lovely little kind of bready note to it. But yeah, I think definitely wheat and oats and a little bit of that nice biscuity sweet malt, but really it's leaning towards the fruits, and it's the mangoes and a little bit of the pineapple that's sticking out. And as I say, it does have a good bit of complexity to it as well. But it smells lovely. It's not the most, I would say, it's not the most pungent of aromas that I've come across from IPAs in recent times. It's actually a little bit more juicy than anything else. It doesn't kind of jump out the glass at you. It's more of a nice, just subtle but complex aroma that's coming out of this one. But it does smell just like a big kind of juicy double IPA. But as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you actually get stuck into it. That's half the battle, if you like, or half the experience when it comes to things like craft beer, sake and whiskey and all of this. It's always just to enjoy the aroma a little bit. But let's get stuck into this beer then. So this one is the Mutually Assured Destruction MAD from Beavertown Brewery in London and Lervig Aktiebryggeri up in Stavanger in Norway. A double IPA at 9.5%. Slange, Skal. Aye, that is a pretty damn good beer. You know, there's no getting away from that. It's definitely, on the first sip, it's definitely got a different vibe to it than some of the other ones that I've had in recent times, you know, from Magic Rock, Verdant, and all of these sorts of breweries. This one, to me, it just tastes a little bit stronger. It's just that little bit boozier, and I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. I know I've had a couple of them at 9%, but I don't think I've had anything above 9% when it comes to this these kind of haze bomb IPAs that are coming about. But yeah, that's a damn good beer. There's absolutely no getting away from that. Just on a few sips, if you get the chance to try this beer, have a go at it, because it's really nice. And the thing I'm noticing right away, the first thing, as I was picking up in the aroma, there is this kind of dank, there is definitely a sort of dank floral aromaticity to this beer, and you can feel that around the front edges of your tongue. You can really feel that slightly darker floral aromatic character coming out of this beer. But this is damn good, so if you get the chance, try this beer. Yeah, you know, that's, so that I can see right away why this one has the rate beer rating that it does. And to be fair, it probably is about right, to be honest. This one for me has a little bit of a different feel. I like a little bit more. This one has the nice malt base to it, but maybe for me, in terms of my taste, it's just a little tad boozy in comparison to some of the other ones I've had. I think maybe 9.5% for the New England IPAs is maybe just a little bit much, but that's just my opinion. As I always say, beer is subjective, but there's no getting away from that. That is a damn good beer. And in fairness, now that I've taken a few sips of it, that slight kind of boozy edge that it has is it does mellow out a little bit. The thing I always liked was when you had if you had an IPA at this sort of ABV, I would always say you want a little bit of kind of caramel malt or biscuit malt or something just to smooth that out. In some ways, I don't know if the kind of oaty characters and pale malt can really do the same job as a little bit of the kind of sweeter malt. But it's interesting this, because as I say, this is the highest alcohol content sort of hazy IPA that I've had before. So it is an interesting thing to think about going forward, and that's what you want as a beer reviewer. You always want things that are going to challenge your palate a little bit. But as I say, make no mistake, that's an absolute nitpick. It's a really good beer. In terms of the malt base in this one, so as you'd expect, you know, you've got this, you can feel a little bit of the pale malt in there. There's a nice kind of wheaty sort of bready character to it. There's a little bit of biscuity sweetness in there, but as I said, I think that's the thing that this beer lacks just a little bit. It needs just a little bit of biscuit malt or caramel or something like that, because you can feel the booziness in this a little bit, and I do wonder if it's the fact that the pale malts and the oats and the wheat malt just can't cover the booze in the same way that a bit of this sweeter malt can. But regardless, it is really quite nice, and it does smooth out a little bit as the beer mellows out. On the hoppy side of things, you know, it's really nice. It's as you'd expect. In the back corners of the palate, there's a teeny little bit of earthiness, but as you come further forward, you get that nice dark floral aromatic character to the beer. You can really feel that. It's a nice dark sort of dank note that this one has. For me, it's not piney resins that are coming out of this. It really is more of a slightly dark and spicy floral aromaticity to this one. Yeah, I would say that. It's not quite... It's definitely more of a spicy floral character to this one, but you can feel, as I always say with these beers, when you actually add fruit juice or fruit to them, you can usually tell the difference in the mouthfeel, because around the very edge of the tongue, instead of getting that kind of dry, hoppy, bitter character, you do get a little bit more of a wet mouthfeel and a kind of juicy note around the edge of the tongue. So with this one, you can really feel some of that kind of mango juice just pushing in around the edge of the palate, but around the very front curve of the tongue, that's where you start to get some of the lighter grassy notes, and you can feel a little bit of that floral aromatic bitterness there on the front corners of your palate. So as I always say, the fruity notes in the beer come out just a little bit behind the front curve of the tongue there. So with this one, I think you can feel a little bit of passion fruit just kind of underpinning the beer. On top of that, you get a little bit of that juicier mango. So I reckon there's Simcoe and Citra in this one, just from the flavours that are coming out. There's a little bit of a pineapple-y note and some mangoes, as you would expect. I was saying mangoes come from the Citra. I'm getting a little bit of this kind of peachy note, but as you progress further and further into it, I'm getting a little bit of a kind of apricot-y flavour coming out of it. There's maybe a little bit of a lychee flavour as well, which is something that you do expect when there's Citra in play in this beer. but that's really good. In terms of IBUs, I mean, it's maybe, I don't know if it's maybe somewhere around the 60 IBU mark, I'm really not sure about that, but this one's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs, and you can really feel, if it didn't have the juice in it, this one would be a really kind of big hoppy beast, but you can feel as the beer kind of progresses further and further into the aftertaste, there's a little bit of a kind of dry, bitter character just pushing its way out. You can feel the wetness of the juice just starting to fade away, and you've seen how long it was since I took a sip. You can feel that slightly spicy, floral aromatic character just pushing its way out of this one, and I definitely think it's more of a spicy floral character rather than a sort of piney resin. I do wonder if there's a little bit of an orangey character in there as well. Maybe there's some just a little bit of Amarillo in here or something like that. Yeah, I reckon there's a wee bit of Amarillo in there, but I'm not certain, because I'm definitely that you can pick up just a little bit of that orangey character as well, but really it definitely leans more towards the kind of tropical fruit side of things more than anything else. But make no mistake, this is a really, really damn good beer. The only little tiny complaint I have about it is that it just needs a wee bit more sweetness in the malt base to kind of deal with that kind of boozy kick that it has, because you can feel the alcohol warmth on this one just a little bit. So I would say, you know, just put a tiny little bit of biscuit or caramel malt, probably more biscuit malt would suit this better. Put a little bit of biscuit malt in and just kind of smooth out the booze a little bit. But that's just my opinion. As I always say, beer is subjective, but make no mistake, this is a good beer. And the rating it has on Rate Beer, I would say it just about deserves that. You know, they've done a great job with this one. But in terms of the mouthfeel, I would say this beer is mid-bodied, maybe pushing the full-bodied category actually. It's actually got more of an oily mouthfeel, which is probably due to the alcohol content that it has. The carbonation is very smooth. It has a little bit of creaminess to it, but like I said, it leans more towards the oily side of things for me. There is a wee bit of hoppy bitterness. It is suppressed a little bit by the fruit juices initially, but then it pushes its way out a little bit later on. The malt base is quite smooth. There is a little bit of boozy warmth to this beer. And you've got a lot of these nice kind of juicy fruits in there as well, and like I say, the bitterness just pushes its way out a little bit later on, but overall, you know, it's a really quite nice beer, this. So if you get the chance to try it, Mutually Assured Destruction, a collaboration between Beavertown and Lervig Aktiebryggeri, you really should. This is a pretty damn good beer. I do wonder if they'll get this one actually over in Systembolaget in Sweden, or if they'll be able to get it in Norway, because I think Norway have an even stricter sort of government-owned system. I think the Vino monopoly is a little bit stricter than the Systembolaget that we have in Sweden, so hopefully the Norwegians do get a chance to try this out at places other than the bars and things like that. But this is a really damn good beer, and I highly recommend that you have a look at this. So yeah, and once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. I hope you've enjoyed my take on this beer. Do let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below. And until the next time, slange just now. If you get to try any of the Beavertown beers or the Lervig beers, I really recommend that you do. And I will make an effort to review more of the Lervig things over the next little while, because this is, I think, is only my second or third review involving them. So I do need to get on that and do some more other Norwegian reviews as well. So do give me your Norwegian beer recommendations too. But until the next time, slange just now, and I will catch you very soon. The Mutually Assured Destruction Mad from Beavertown Brewery in collaboration with Lervig Aktiebryggeri from Stavanger in Norway. Ska.